Days right after you honored the invitation by the police. First question is, the DSS has arrested him. Did this come as a surprise to you? One. And question two, is Joe Ajaero untouchable?
If he was untouchable, they would not have invited him in the first place, and he honored the invitation. If he was untouchable, they would not have arrested him as they have done. There is no Nigerian who is untouchable. At this point, we can only wait for the DSS and the NIA to maybe jointly brief the press and tell us what exactly is the matter. Joe Ajaero, as the leader of labor in our country, is such an important person. And we don't want anything that will generate industrial disharmony between the government and labor. And we also don't want the polity to be heated up needlessly. So, to arrest someone like the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress in the manner that they have done, those security agencies had better they must know what they are doing. Let me just put it mildly, because Nigerians will be really outraged if it was picked up for something frivolous. I don't want to believe that the combination of the DSS and the NIA will pick up a Nigerian based on frivolous allegations or petitions against the individual. Because I know that, one, Labour will feel that it has been disrespected collectively by the manner in which their leader had been picked up. And I also think that it makes no sense to make Ajaero much more popular than he is currently. If it appears, if the police invited him, he honored the invitation, and on his way out of the country, another security agency picked him up and then handed him over to another, it will suggest to people that he's been victimized, because he chose to stand up for the workers. And if this matter is not resolved quickly, it will bring problems. Nobody is too big to be arrested, but it must be for serious security breach or threat to the security of our country. So I hope that the DSS will not waste time, the NIA will not waste time to tell us why they have put Ajaero in the slammer. Nigerians deserve to know. The labor force that he heads deserves to know
the explanation
why they picked up their leader in the manner that they have done.
Okay. Now, Dr. let me come to you here. Earlier today, the NLC had a closed-door meeting. Should Nigerians be expecting a blowback from the NLC because of this incident?
Well, they've always threatened. Ever since Ajaero was invited by the police, that they will go on strike if he's detained. I wouldn't expect anything less to happen than the threat to go on strike, which could be as early as tomorrow. Well, like Vicky said, the crucial thing now is for somebody to talk to us, to explain to us why he was stopped from traveling. It's so funny, let me use that word, that less than a week after the DSS says it will no longer be speaking to the press, this is happening. Because before now, we would have had someone to call in the person of Dr. Peter Funaya. But there is no one to call. They've told us they now want to do their things more covertly.
So you think it's just going to be a threat without action? Just the
No, I see something happening by tomorrow, because they said it. That once it's picked up or detained by the police, then. So now it's been picked up. We don't know what will happen if you. Okay. But we need to know why it was picked up. Maybe when Nigerians know. Because all we've had with the case with the police was the fact that the first time it was the fact that the labor house in Abuja had someone that the police had interest in.
Yes.
And the man is out of the country. So it's that phase is over in a way. But if indeed there is something serious he has done, we need to know.
Okay,
that's the most important
just
thing.
In 30 seconds, I need your opinion on this. The NLC public relations officer, he said that he was arrested without a warrant. Can the DSS arrest someone without a warrant? Just in 30 seconds because of our time.
Did they ask for it?
Who asked for it?
The NLC. If another agency requests that the DSS should arrest, is that agency that they'll be talking to, not the DSS?
All right then. Okay, because of our time, let's move straight to our other topic. It is back to school season, and many parents are feeling frustrated over preparations for their children or words to resume for the new academic session. The reason is not far-fetched. The economic situation in the country has affected school fees and fares, which have gone up by more than 70%. Besides, parents of students who are in the final year in secondary school have to contend with registration for public examinations conducted by the West African Examination Council (WAEC), the National Examination Council (NECO), and the National Business and Technical Examinations Board (NABTEB). Now, reacting to the developments, the leadership of the Nigerian Union of Teachers (NUT) warned that education must not be taken out of the reach of the poor by university fee hikes and charges, and as such, stakeholders urged the federal government to subsidize education. They also called for the establishment of the Education Bank. All right, BKO, at this time, why should schools hike fees at this time? Is it fair?
If they don't hike fees at this time, when is the best time for them to hike fees? When? Because everyone is a victim of the cost of living crisis that we have. Everyone is hiking fees. What we don't want to see is to go over the top to do it. Employers of labor know now that their workers are going through a lot. People are increasing fees. People are increasing salaries, however marginal. People are increasing allowances so that their workers can stand a good chance of coping with what is on ground now, if I can use that street language. It's not funny out there. Prices of goods have hit the roof. Prices of services have hit the roof. Everything has gone up.
House rents.
House rents. And you know, people who set up schools, they didn't set up those schools for charity.
True.
They have bills to pay. How do they pay bills if inflation has completely messed up or wiped off their margin, their profit margin. If your profit was 500 million, let me put it in inverted commas, and you have to buy diesel every day to power the generators in your school, because you also don't want those children to receive instruction in a very unconducive environment. Okay. So schools will have chillers, or even some of those little ceiling fans, at least to make the classroom cool, so that whatever instruction you are passing goes into the ears of the children. Because where the environment is unconducive, you are wasting your time. Nobody will be able to learn. So diesel, people buying diesel at 1,400, some cases 1,700 per liter. How do they get by?
Let's not forget they were band A.
Band A.
How do they get by if they do not increase school fees? At the time my youngest son got into his present school, we were paying 80,000 naira per term. Okay. This last one, my wife called me, although usually when they are going into a terminal class, they usually get you to pay a lot more, because you now pay for like 2 terms or so. I was asked to pay about 436,000.
Hold on. From 80,000?
80,000 when you got into the school.
Into the school.
To 400?
Yes, 436. So if government permitted the discos to now charge us exorbitantly, even higher than the average rate in the US, who says school proprietors cannot also demand for higher school fees? It's extremely tough. They have buses. Those buses have to go and bring the students. In the past, Nigerian schools were hardly doing summer coaching. Summer coaching used to be done by different people, not the school. But the schools know now that if they don't organize summer coaching, they will find it difficult to pay their workers.
It's a way of generating
during those months, those 2 months. So the summer coaching is something they introduce so that you will still pay money, and then they will be in position to pay the salaries of their own workers. This is a difficult time to be an entrepreneur in our country. We just have to admit it. And all of these things revolve around the value of our currency. And I will keep saying it, because I'm the last person who will admit that this is the true value of our currency. No. The CBN have not managed our currency very well, the CBN governor, and he knows it. He can argue all he wants. That is not the value of my country's currency. 1,600 and something? Come on. Okay, everything, diesel price that has gone up.
It's one of
the touch to it.
Everything you talk about landing cost.
Landing cost, exactly.
Is because the currency is weak. Yeah. This landing cost early last year was certainly not this high.
And what happened?
Because the naira slid in value between the time when the president, even when the president said, okay, we will now float our currency, it still was below 900 at a point. Suddenly from 900, we are now in 1,006, and we now have a convergence of rates, which means that the people managing our currency believe that this 1,600 is the right valuation for our currency. I will never agree. With a gun to my neck, I will never agree.
Then who will read the riot act to the CBN governor at this time?
No, it's
what's
the
going
president is his employer.
The president should.
They've got to do a much better job because everything revolves around it. Okay, look at what is happening again. The president said waivers. Let's have waivers for some food items.
Okay.
Do you know that has also worsened the value of the naira? Because it has led to a spike in the demand for forex. People want to bring in, they want to get forex and bring in these food items within the window.
Thereby putting pressure on
demand. Now it's gone to above 1,600. I am saying that, look, and I've said it before, that even China, a great economic power, as well as a military power now, tampers with its currency. Because if China deliberately, to the anger of the US, continues to undervalue its own currency so that it can use that to to push export. Because when their own goods are cheaper than the alternatives, more people will want to buy. So it's always countries that are into so much export. When they devalue their currency, it is to their advantage because the buying countries will be, yes, they'll find it cheaper. It will be an incentive for them to buy more.
But in the case
in our own, in the case of Nigeria, what are we exporting? We have yam. We produce a lot of yam, but we can't even export it because we've not found a way to preserve it for export.
Okay, let me.
So I'm just trying to explain to you that for these school owners, and I know that some of them, there's unfair competition that is going on. I know that some of them are unduly exploiting with the parents. Because there was a school that increased this cost of school uniform fourfold just because they want to see how the school fees can go up. How do you increase the cost of school uniform that high? Because it's good to put so much body on
you are everybody. Scaring me right now because I just got married and all of this it's scary. But anyway, let me
buy you. Do they still sell SMA gold? Who is a younger person?
I'm scared right now.
Those things now cost as much as minimum wage. 70,000, 65, 70,000. Yes, 65, 70,000.
I don't want to start sweating.
Some kids can afford
so let's talk about the issue of the enrollment and the issue of out-of-school children. Will this now not affect, looking at the face of a high number of out-of-school?
It's definitely
not drop out because of
it's definitely going to happen. And then some parents who still can't afford it will perhaps take their children from private schools that are expensive to cheaper ones or into public schools. It's a big issue. And let me just narrate something. I took time because something happened in my house. I bought power and in 1 week, 50,000 naira I was told was gone.
Oh dear.
So what did I do? I went and printed the receipt and I saw that we were on band A. And we are paying 209.3 per kilowatt. There is a school down the road, same estate.
Okay.
And I was wondering how that school that has air conditioner in all the classes going to survive. So it means if I'm calculating that I'll be spending between 200,000 and 250,000 naira per month on electricity in the house. What happens in that school? That school also has buses with which it brings students. So what happens?
Now, let's look at solutions.
Yes, solution. For me.
What should the president, what should the president, they said the president should intervene.
It's not so, it's not just.
What exactly do you expect him to do?
Everything doesn't do that. The president can say everything.
The box has his table.
Everything can go back to him. Those who are working with him must have their own initiative. One of the things being proposed by the Ministry of Power for higher institutions now is to intervene and get 50% off electricity cost. And I'm saying that's still not the solution. Because what you are doing is you are still subsidizing. You are taking the cost of the schools and giving it to the government. Can we get all, for instance, in those schools, all students who are studying engineering to do compulsory
projects
around generating electricity? All our lecturers who are always running abroad to go and spend tech fund money on projects that are not useful to us, they should sit down with those students and develop what our institutions can use, devoid of this our so-called grid.
Each of the big schools
they can do it.
Come up with renewable energy.
Let's do something.
Funds.
No. It's not even about funds.
Research.
There are students who are reading electronics engineering. That is what they are planning to read in school. Can they do projects along that line? I don't know if you understand me. Instead of sending them, and then you can then get to the point where, for instance, we are planning CNG buses. We know it doesn't come off the shelf. It's not something you go and buy, and they can extend it to some of these schools at this level. If not, this education thing is going to get out of the reach of virtually all parents. If BK is complaining,
I think big schools like Unilag, AB, and the rest of them, they can do renewable energy.
Yeah.
Focusing on solar. For example.
Wind, sun, all of it there.
We have plenty sun now.
Our lecturers are always complaining.
I believe it is possible. There was, in fact, a man, Professor Abuja, who created a car. You know, he built a car, the Autonom.
They should get into it and
so I think this can.
They should get into it and
let it work. Invest in it on a sustainable basis. Because one of the universities was owing the discourse about $1 billion naira.
1.3 billion. 1.3
on electricity alone. So how do they pay? How do they pay? Universities don't get that level of funding that you can then go and spend like 1 billion on electricity.
You know?
No, other things will suffer.
Instead of constructing buildings.
For me, I'm happy that they said, okay, hospitals, universities, 50% discount on electricity. You see, this we cannot totally discountenance subsidy. After all, even in some of those countries, the Scandinavian countries, education at all levels is free. At all levels. I saw a Nigerian official saying that education is the cheapest in Nigeria. I said, look at this one. In some of those Scandinavian countries, you don't pay a dime for electricity. But the tax, they are prepared to take 50% tax from your income.
Oh, dear.
On your income, they take out 50% tax. And in those countries, in some of those countries, the punishment for tax evasion is worse than the punishment for manslaughter. They don't joke with it because you will enjoy. And look at it. Even crime wave is very low in some of those countries. Norway, Finland. In fact, one of those countries, Spain, had to send their own prisoners to help them put them in the slammer because their prisons are literally empty. Why do you want to steal?
Okay.
Why do you want to steal?
All right.
Actually, everything that you want government is doing for you. But your tax on your income.
Well, at least you get to enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
But anyway, we'll continue with this conversation right after this break. Journalists Hangout. We'll be right back.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
I need students, but I need teachers.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything.
If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all their demands, a familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Community Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m.
All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I'm still hanging out with Babajide Kolade, Utitojo and Dotun. Well, my name is Benga. Let's move on to our next story. As a political party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, may be down, but not finished. To demonstrate this, the PDP has criticized the national leader of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Kwakwanso, for his recent assertion that the party is dead. In response, the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, dismissed Kwakwanso's comments as those of a failed and inconsequential politician who has struggled to manage a party with control over just one state. Ologunagba also criticized Kwakwanso for disregarding the PDP's significant national presence, which includes 13 state governors, numerous members of the national and state assemblies, and a robust presence across the country's local government areas and wards. He also lamented Kwakwanso's perceived focus on his own presidential ambition amidst current hardship in the country, including soaring inflation, a plummeting naira, and rising fuel prices. VKO, Rabiu Kwakwanso, saying that the PDP is dead, and he also said that that's one of the reasons why he and his members left. Is it right to hold such an opinion?
Maybe in Kano.
Oh.
Because if you go back to the governorship election in Kano, 2023, PDP was completely blown out of water. And they can't deny. If the producer can find the results of the governorship election as well as the presidential election in Kano State, and they can just paste it on the screen for us, you see that PDP had literally died in Kano. And they brought it upon themselves. They had a disagreement within the PDP. Kwakwanso had a candidate for a national elective position as within the party.
Okay.
Just rather than take that step, allow the candidate to allow a level playing field for Kwakwanso's candidate. They were all out to frustrate the candidate. And Kwakwanso felt that, look, these people, they've moved against me. I have no business remaining with them. So he left the party. And you saw what happened. See, the way people analyze politics is the main reason a lot of politicians make mistakes. In Kano, during the last election, actually Bola Ahmed Tinubu lost more states in northern Nigeria to Atiku. But he still scored higher votes than Atiku in that same northern Nigeria, thanks to Kano. Thanks to Kano. The head start that Atiku had by winning a lot of those northern states, Katsina, Kaduna, and all of them. Even Kebbi and Sokoto. He won. I predicted that he would win Kebbi and Sokoto, and he won both states. Despite that they were under APC, they had APC governors. Yeah. I predicted here that Asiwaju will lose those two states. Some of my friends were saying, "What are you talking about?" I said, let's wait. He lost those 2 states to Atiku. The videos are there on YouTube. But the gap that he thought he had, it was in Kano that those gaps were wiped away because PDP literally didn't come to the party in Kano.
Because of the
non-existent. No, because Kwankwaso had left them. And they didn't have a strong figure who could actually pose any threat. So the gap that Atiku had in those states, because Tinubu led him by, I think, the region of 400,000 or so in Kano. They do get the result for Kano.
Yeah, over 400,000, 440,000 votes.
That Tinubu, the gap that he gave him. You see, that's the point that I'm making. That gap was what Asiwaju used to wipe out Atiku's edge. The gap that he had built in other states. Bauchi, all of those places. And at the end of the day, Asiwaju then scored more votes than him. You look at the Northwest. How many states did Asiwaju win in the Northwest? He won Jigawa. He won Zamfara. Out of those 7 states, he won 2. Yet, he still had more votes than Atiku. When it comes to elections, Kano is a state like no other in our country.
They say the KKK states.
All those states don't even come near Kano. Let anybody know. The vote of a vote of a senator in Kano, maybe Kano Central, is usually higher than the votes of an entire state. When a senator scores more than 400,000 votes in Kano, how many states do you see a winner scoring in excess of 400,000? Governor, some 200 and something thousand, 300, and a senator from Kano. You see Kano returning more than 1 million votes, the winner. Somebody comes close, also scoring more than 500,000. So this is the thing. They lost Kano because of their quarrel with Kwankwaso. I don't know about tomorrow, but Kwankwaso rules Kano. You may not like him as an individual. He has all kinds of excesses that naturally some of us may not sit well with some of us, but he rules Kano politics for now.
All right.
So if the PD people will tell themselves the truth, if they are thinking of building alliances, people like Kwankwaso are the people that they can work with for 2027, because for now he's still respected, he's still strong in the state.
Those are influence.
Yes. So if they can do that, that's guaranteeing them more than 1 million votes. I'm telling you.
Okay.
So abusing him and saying that he has only 1 state and all that. It's
now, Dr. Kwankwaso says he will win the 2027 elections. How do you think the influence he has in the NNPP, the Kano State, how do you think this will influence the political terrain leading up to the 2027 presidential election?
That is a mirage.
It's just mere boast.
Yeah, the man is, it is the way of politicians. Let's put it that way. But the shocking thing for me in this PDP statement is the fact that just about a week earlier, their deputy national publicity secretary, the man who is Ologun Agba's sister, has said they are trying to ensure that all opposition candidates work together.
Talking about an alliance.
An alliance for the 2027 election. I'm not saying what Kwankwaso said is right, but the party should not have reacted that way, if indeed it is serious about regaining power.
So you're saying that the statements, the
Totally out of
rebuttal
place.
was not
Totally
necessary.
out of place. What they ought to have done was to further massage Sego. That one state, like BQ said, owes a lot. If
That is,
they all
one
decide,
state is like 4 states.
exactly, if they all decide to come out, we are talking of over 5 million votes.
Okay, let's look at let's look at PDP.
So it's wrong.
Let's look at PDP as an opposition. What is your assessment of the PDP as an opposition in the Nigerian political landscape presently?
Usually what happens after an election is lost and won, is that the opposition loses steam.
They lose steam.
That's what happened in Nigeria. Have we not seen the massive movement into APC after the election? So if you are going to do anything tangible as an opposition, what you should do is to rebuild your home. So will not be 100% right that PDP is dead, but it's losing steam. Even their own sitting governors are saying so. Seyi Makinde in Oyo State said so. And if you are thinking of a voice in the PDP, Seyi Makinde has won. So if your governors are telling you that we need to rebuild this party,
A member of their BOT was endorsing the governor of a rival state.
Going out there.
Member of BOT endorsing Governor Oti, the man who defeated their own candidate.
For the 2023.
You are already endorsing him, whereas your party is likely to field a candidate for that same.
It will even fail. It's not likely.
Yes,
And
you
he has
definitely
endorsed him
field.
for 2020.
That means even they too are giving up. You're giving up that, okay, Oti can continue, and you have.
Because the party in that state is
They will definitely
together.
field the candidates.
The party in the state is not even together, which is what is happening at the national level.
Still talking about PDP as an opposition. Was the PDP ever prepared for the role as an opposition?
No, because they felt they will rule forever.
They
They used to
60
boast
years.
that they will be in power for 50 years. So they were not prepared, and they are not skilled at it. You know, they were out of power for 8 years, but they didn't really do much. They didn't offer much. And the infighting between them is not helping matters. Today, we don't know what's going on. They'll set up a disciplinary committee, whether they will chase some people away or bring some people back. And some of their men are also in bed with rival parties. Because what that BOT member said is like being in bed with the Labour Party. If you can say that.
It is not really like
And there are some of
already.
them. There are some of them too who are in bed with the ruling APC. They are just PDP in daytime.
And another
They are APC at night time. So one person, double-faced individual, you belong to 2 different parties. That's the thing. There's always been like that. So I don't know, for them to bounce back, to defeat the APC, for example, the opposition must come together.
Yeah.
If they don't come together, they can't defeat the APC.
So you're talking about the alliance. The call for an alliance is
Yes,
you give them a huge
we've seen parties come together in some countries to defeat the ruling party. You know, if you are really anxious, you want to come back to party, then you work with others.
Yeah.
Work with opposition. Let them realize that you stand a greater chance of winning if they work with you. In the lower contests, they can go their separate ways. But you can say, okay, for the presidential election, let's work together.
Is it too early to start talking alliance? No,
It's not too early. This is the time. Many of the people who contest for governorship election for 2027, we know them already.
Yeah.
Some are even declaring. I know someone now who said he's going to contest in Imo State.
Yeah.
That he will not allow Hope Uzodinma to bring his own person, that he must defeat, that he must be next governor of Imo State. I'm already talking about it. And that election is still further far away.
Exactly.
3 years.
It's not going to happen the same time with. It's not going to happen the same time with this
the others.
This set of governors. You know, so it's not too late. You start talking the methods that you are going to use, the tactics. You start fine tuning those methods, just generally honing up your skills.
Okay.
Ensure that you are ready. Or fighting one another, calling each other names. Congress too can get up and abuse the PDP now. But one thing is, no matter what you say about him, he left your party and you paid heavily. You paid a heavy price in Kano.
Heavy price.
You know? They will never know because a lot of them don't analyze politics the way some of us look at it.
All right.
Look at that gap again. Go back and look at that gap.
Over
again.
400,000.
It's even easy for them to draw lessons from the formation of APC. It's easy for them to draw lessons from the emergence of Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes.
It's easy because there are some people who
parties came together.
you know, this discussion has been going on.
So let me just cut you there because of our time. Let's move straight to our fourth story. The menace of fake or adulterated products used to be rife in the business sector, but is gradually creeping into other areas like religion. To stem this dangerous trend, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has announced that it has sealed a water factory, Global Table Water, in Delta State for allegedly aiding and abetting the production, sale, and advertisement of unregistered and unwholesome products, Miracle Water, under the pretext of fake NAFDAC registration number. According to NAFDAC, the sealed factory was producing and distributing the Miracle Water in cahoot with the faith-based organization Christ Mercy Land Delivery Ministries, led by Prophet Jeremiah Omoto. In a statement by its Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, NAFDAC said none of the products advertised and sold were registered with the agency. Professor Adeyeye also noted that the public began to visit NAFDAC office to confirm the claims by the minister, who showcased the use of Miracle Water and soap on social media to heal barrenness, and claims they were registered by NAFDAC. BKO, NAFDAC sealing off a Miracle Water factory. But does Miracle Water, spiritual materials, do they need NAFDAC certification?
If you are selling it in the open market, NAFDAC has to regulate what you are selling. I mean, we are ingesting it into our body, and you are selling it. You have the cheek to sell it openly. You cannot sell such things without NAFDAC certification. That is the thing. And in this case,
if it was given freely, you don't need NAFDAC.
Though if they bottled the water within the premises of the church and just gave their people, you know, but if you are selling it in the open market, because what I believe they are doing, they are selling it in the open market, and people can go to buy. You know what they want to do, they want to give it validity and all that. So that's why they've gone to the extent that they've gone. But you cannot sell such things, whether it's food, drinks, or even water, without NAFDAC certification. So NAFDAC has a right to put his foot down and say, no, because you didn't get a certification, you can't sell this. And it's for everyone's good. It's for everyone's good. The people...
In Nigeria, we take this thing, spirituality, we take it very serious. They sell olive oil, anointing oil, you know, people drink it sometimes. Do you need NAFDAC for that as well? Where do you
I've told you, see, I said when you are selling in the open market, yes, as they have done, as this church, as they've done, then NAFDAC will come in, because somebody can buy something and say, look, I bought this, but since I bought it, my belly has been turning. And then you can lodge a report. They can then investigate the circumstances in which that bottled water was produced. Maybe the environment where they are producing. NAFDAC has gone ahead to bust some of those factories where unwholesome products were being produced. Part of their work is their mandate. You can't go and sell something in the open and people are buying it and you expect that people will consume those things without NAFDAC certification. If it's within your church that you did it, NAFDAC will not step in. But to openly sell products in that manner, of course, NAFDAC has the mandate to step in and do what they have done. And it's also, I like the fact that Nigerians are not taking all kinds of nonsense anymore. Yeah. People protested. That somebody said if you bath with their soap, that you give birth to twins. People said that there are other things they are saying that you will that it has the soap has the capacity to tackle disappointment, failure, and delays in achieving lifelong goals. They also claim that the soap is so powerful that it can cure any disease. So people then felt, look, this can't be going on. NAFDAC, what are you people doing? And I think that muscular guy who doesn't wear clothes.
The very dark man.
Yes. He also played a part when he accused the man of fake miracles and all that. And the man threatened to sue him, but the threat was withdrawn in the final analysis because he knew with that boy, it would further damage his own credibility because this is a boy without restraint. And the way he talks, he will abuse you. The way he likes you are the one who has so much to lose. So the man quickly withdrew the trainer and left the boy alone. He was calling him my son and all that. You know? So I just think that, yes, I just think that, look, Prophet Jeremiah, Omoto Fufeyin, you know, it sounds like, I don't know, maybe it's an Shekiri name or something, you know. So I think that he needs to take a second look at himself and stop all this. You can't be saying that water will heal people of barrenness and all that, and then a lot of people go to consume the water and nothing changes, and you expect that they won't petition. They will petition NAFDAC.
All right,
And they were even showing the pictures.
Nigerians, we take spirituality to another level.
Yeah.
Now, where do we draw the line between extortion and services here?
The truth is it can't end.
It can't end.
It can't.
Really?
Until when our economy gets better.
Yes.
And people do not
and
wait on miracles.
When the social problems go away.
Yeah, when they go away. The people will no longer wait for miracles to survive. In other countries, the least of your problem is what to eat. You don't pray when you are going home for there to be power. The energy is there, unless you don't want. I know you are not paying for that service. You don't pray for
such prayers.
Yeah, for training to come on time or boss. They will always be there. You don't need to pray for all of those things. So while churches are going online in other places, we're having more of them. They are taking over factories here. Churches have taken over virtually all the factories in Lagos. Go to all the warehouses. That's what you find. And then, like BQ said, nobody has ever gone to the airport to challenge those who bring in water from Saudi Arabia after the Hajj, because it is not being sold commercially.
Okay.
People bring it in for their own spirituality. Nobody has gone to Orioke Babalola in Osun State to go and say the miracle water that people take from there, they have to get registered. It's because this is packaged. And this won't be the only church to package it. Redeem is producing water. Redeem Christian Church of God. Living Faith is producing water with NAFDAC registration number. And the thing,
but they don't tell you that
it's just for you to take. You are paying the normal price that other bottled
tell you
water.
kills
He
barrenness.
doesn't care. And the thing I find very amusing and saddening,
In just
if
10
it is
seconds.
true,
10 seconds.
is the fact that it was after NAFDAC came that they went to a factory to go and use his registration number. If it is so, then that is criminal.
Well, they are even denying that they said other people actually package those things and put their address.
Yeah, but it is not so, because what NAFDAC has said, why they shut down that company, is because it was after that event happened that they went to that company.
All right, thank you.
packaging it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oladipo. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And I also want to thank BKO.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for having this conversation.
I have a miracle water to give you.
And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat of the broadcast of this episode tonight at 11, and join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Global Entrepreneurship Festival, to be hosted at the Entrepreneurship Village in Nigeria, November 22nd to the 24th. Join world leaders, heads of state, diplomats, ministers, governors, investors, policymakers, tech leaders, organizations, startups, and entrepreneurs from all over the world. To attend, visit www.globalentrepreneurshipfestival.com. For partnerships, call 234-912-165-9914. Over 20 million viewers, 5,000 event participants, 200 exhibitors, 43 global speakers, and 12 events, which includes conferences, trade fairs, innovation and robotics expo, art and creative exhibitions, a dazzling fashion show, and a closing concert. All in one global festival. Don't miss it.